Hi there. Hey, if you have an S corporation, you may have heard about this topic of S corporation tax basis, and you may be wondering, how do I actually use that basis for anything? What does that mean? By stock basis and stock, which is what I'll talk about here specifically, I mean an owner's tax basis in their ownership of an S corporation. For historical reasons, the owners are assumed to be shareholders who own stock in a true corporation. The S election was originally designed for true corporations as an opportunity to turn the default double tax treatment of C corporations into flow-through tax treatment. Flow-through tax treatment is what we see with partnerships as an example. That opened the door for small corporation owners to achieve a tax status similar to other small businesses that were organized as partnerships. But today, in practice, many S corporations are actually formed as LLCs under state law, and they're permitted to elect, those LLCs are permitted to elect to be treated as S corporations for federal tax purposes. In that situation, there's a fiction being told, what I call a tax fiction, where the LLC members, their membership interest is imagined to be equivalent to their stock in a corporation. To make this happen, the LLC operating agreement really should be carefully crafted to ensure that the rights and obligations of a member are equivalent to that of a corporate shareholder. Whether your S corporation is a true corporation legally or an LLC for legal purposes, state law purposes, and is just being treated as a corporation, there are several reasons why your stock basis in your S corporation matters. The most common reasons that I see are, number one, as an owner of a flow-through entity, you take into account the corporation losses and could deduct them on your tax return, but you can only deduct, an owner can only deduct their S corporation losses to the extent that they have basis in stock or debt. So basis allows you to have flow-through deductions. That's number one. Number two, a distribution in excess of an owner's stock basis is generally a taxable gain. And number three, an owner who sells their ownership will compare their proceeds to the basis they have in their stock to determine their gain or loss on that transaction. S corporation stock basis is generally affected by investment, income, losses, and withdrawals. The order of making adjustments to your basis matters. The first thing you do is you increase basis by items of income. The second thing you do is you decrease your basis by distributions made to the shareholder. And number three, the last thing that you do is decrease your basis by deduction and loss items. Now, that ordering is important because basis cannot be less than zero. So the ordering allows you to take distributions against beginning basis and against income items before you decrease the basis for loss items. Also, perhaps counter to first intuition, income items and deduction items will include tax-exempt income and non-deductible expense. So let me say that again. You increase basis for income that's not taxable. That would be things like, well, my most common example is always municipal bond interest. Local municipal bond interest is often federally tax exempt. If your company earns that kind of interest on some kind of investment, that interest would increase, that interest income would increase your basis even though it's not taxable. And non-deductible expenses decrease your basis even though they're not tax deductible. Most common example of that, perhaps 50% of meals and entertainment. You can't deduct 50% of your meals and entertainment, but that 50% that is considered non-deductible does still decrease your basis. So tax-exempt items increase basis, non-deductible items decrease basis. Your S corporation stock basis matters when the business has losses, pays the owner distributions, or ownership is changing. Best practice is to track basis annually so that it's known and available for planning when these events are being contemplated. All right, that's it for now. I'm going to get back to the garden. Take care, everyone.